The nationwide strike declared by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria on Monday has paralyzed operations at key oil and gas regulatory institutions, including the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. A whole lot of issues there. Of course, the impact of this is what Nigerians are so concerned about. Let's dive into this and, of course, see how this matter can be resolved. I'm being joined in the studio by Professor Konife. He's an economist. He joins us right here in the studio. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, let me get your immediate reaction to the ongoing war between Pengassan, oil workers union, and, of course, the Dangote Refinery.
I mean, this is what I call unionism gone mad. And there's no place in our Nigerian law for recklessness of this dimension. And I need to call out the mid and downstream regulatory agency. It's just the regulatory agency that is in charge of all of this. Their incapacity is an evidence of complicity. And I can't mince word on this. This Nupeng and Pengassan, they are not regulatory agencies. In fact, they were the ones that blocked the sale of Kaduna and Port Harcourt Refinery in 2007.
But they are members of the regulatory agencies. So
no, they can be members, but they are not the regulatory agencies. It could be a member of the board. But the thing is that in 2017, when it was sold for $750 million, then Radua came in. The pressure from these people, they made him return the money to the consortium. Now I'm begging federal government, let these unions go and take that refinery, take them free, and go and repair them. Go and management buyout, go and run them. You earn tens of billions of naira, go and use them, go and run them. And then do your own, leave Dangote alone. That's not on. If you look at FDI this year, we're not even sure we'll get up to $2 billion dollar in FDI in this year at all. FDI has melted down, and the only thing that is inspiring, the 20 billion investment that is inspiring investors to come here, you are telling them, kicking them out, kicking them on their teeth. That's not going to allow you to stand. It's not going to stand. Now, the first question is, they said unionization and workers' right, that Dangote Refinery is against that. Dangote has defended himself. He has actually said publicly, we support workers' right to join the union. But it is voluntary. The law says it's voluntary. The second one is that, that anti-labor practices, they are restricting and penalizing and intimidating people who are members of their union. Dangote has said their own side. That's not true. Where is the evidence? And then now mass retrenchment of 800 workers. What is wrong? Look, employments are governed by contracts. And the contract provides for you to terminate. There are months of grace or the period of grace. If the term of the contract is violated, union steps in to protect their workers. Now, when you come to redundancy, there's something different. Because redundancy is when the company, for all kinds of reasons, can no longer continue business as usual. And there's so many things that can cause that. It could be technology. It could even be AI. I used to have 4 researchers working for me. Only one is necessary because AI has come in. Then it could be adverse conditions. It could be all kinds of situations. And the law does not require a private company to even give the reasons why you are making somebody redundant. But Dangote says it's because they are reforming and regulating. Yeah, they even had to go and try and give.
Reorganization.
There is no law that says you cannot lay off people. What you do is what compensations, what period of notices. And let me tell you this. If a worker doesn't have contract, he can't escape. Once you pay salary and they are covered by statutory regulation, the contract can be implied. So they can't run away. So they will still have to pay them benefit. That's what union comes. In fact, once they are making this announcement, the union should run and have a meeting with them to know what the issues are. Is there any way we can help our members? Is it training? We can engage in retraining them so that they will be first in when you are going to open the door again. So it will be nothing. Is there any negotiation? No arbitration? No what do you call it? Nothing. And then the last resort is to go to tribunal. Go and report. If you think you have some rights, go to industrial court and report. If you think there is some kind of right that is being, go there. You're not going to any of this. No conciliation, no arbitration, nothing, no negotiation. You just go and stop the country. And it makes me fear they don't have a development economist that advises them. And let me tell you this. There is between 14 to 14.7 billion naira that is going to be lost every day. Now, let me tell you the magnitude of that amount. 800 workers, Dangote still has 3,000 workers. What is 800 to 3,000 that are still working there? Now, 800 workers, if each of them is getting 100,000 naira a month, that will be 80 million. Now, this 14.7 billion is 14.7 times more than this. So what it means in effect is that 14,700 Nigerians, their monthly salary are being taken away by what happened in one day. And if there are family of 1 to 4, over 52 million Nigerians are going into abject poverty because they're no longer able to receive income. And that is the impact, that is the economic impact. What you think is just 814 billion, this is what it means on a daily basis, what Nigeria is going to be losing.
All right, Prof. What the union workers, the leadership are saying is that these workers were laid off after some of them expressed their interests or even joining the union. That is where the oil workers are saying that, accusing Dangote of anti-labor practice. What do you say about that?
No, I mean, Dangote has made his own case. He's put his own case out there. It's not me said, he said. No, their case are out there. Their response are out there. They've denied all of that. And they even blackmailing and saying 2,000 Indians have been imported. Imported from where? Into Nigeria. With no immigration clearance, nothing. Imported 2,000 to take over their jobs. 2,000 to take over the job of 800 people. These are malicious lies, and they do not, even if it is true, it does not provide an excuse for you to shut down the entire economy. Because of 800, you are shutting down 230 million Nigerian people from accessing energy. You're creating energy insecurity. You are creating another form of physical security because there's going to be clash everywhere. Now, what are you talking about? Government should ban these national unions and then let the state versions of these unions persist. After all, oil is only in about 10 states. Why should a conflict between a refinery in Lagos and their union black out the entire country? Let them go to states. Let them have their own versions in the state. It's not necessary to have them because all of these things, all these conspiracies, they were all built up when NNPC was the sole monopoly in the country. The sole business. Now it's not. Of course it's not. So all these unions that are built on a national basis, based on the oil, they should go back to state level so that we will have peace, in the industrial peace in this country. And then I've still suggested it. Government should give them those 2 refineries free of charge, no $750 million. Go and run those as management buyout. And let's have peace.
Indeed. But Prof, let's see, let's try to ask what exactly is really happening. Is it a case of a small animal being afraid of being swallowed by or eaten by the big animals? Dangote, in this case, is the bigger animal, and the marketers are somehow scared of him being, eaten by them. What do you think? What do you make of that?
What it is this. What is the alternative scenario? The alternative scenario is what has been business as usual, the former business that they've been doing, which is racketeering, and then you have an institution there that is granting them license, unauthorized license, to import hundreds of millions of barrels of adulterated fuel into the country. And then you have jobs that, you have no checks on those value, on those quality, because the PIA says you have to bring the stakeholders and they have a test. No, neither NNPC nor NNPD has a national certified lab. So we are carrying them into the country, and then the evidence is there that this the sulfur content far exceeds our 50 ppm, parts per million limits. Then you have density issue, you have ethanol, higher ethanol level, all kinds of issues that you have. The test you provide for pour point, a flash point, density and flow, nothing. Sulfur content, octane number, they are not doing any of those because they haven't got a laboratory. But Dangote has a laboratory that meets international standard. And then they are not even respecting the law that says you must declare the local capacity of refining before, and then the others who are drilling will meet those before exporting. No. And then even Dangote Refinery that has capacity for 700,000 barrels, they're giving them 70,000 barrels. Not even 100, not even 200. And in all of those, they just want to put that company under pressure and continue to import what they are importing. And then, so what is the problem? I don't understand what the problem is. And then I have to warn. Now, people who live in glass houses don't throw stones. That's a big warning. And this company, we know that in the whole of this year, we may not get $2 to $3 billion investment, direct investment. Dangote Refinery is a systemic, strategic industry for this country that it is a national asset. It cannot be wished away. And then let me tell you also, if they think that they can stop that business, you can't actually stop it from supplying fuel into Nigeria. And if they decide not to supply fuel, you cannot stop it from exporting its fuel. So I don't understand what is the law. You don't engage in a battle that you have no prospect of winning. All you are doing is that you are destroying the jobs. It's now reckless leadership that I say the federal government should just get rid of, abolish them. Let's have state versions of them. Let them work in states. So that one thing happening in one state does not stop the whole 36, 37 states. So that is just a simple answer.
All right. The question is, Dangote Group is the highest employer of labor in Nigeria, and of course the highest contributor to tax revenue of Nigeria and even subnationals. Given what is happening, what sort of intervention do you expect from the government? The federal government is trying to bring the two warring factions together to see how they can, reach a compromise.
Well, if you look at this is a proxy war. You're asking me, somebody saying, I've had some interviews where they are saying, oh, only just now that they suddenly decided to leave 800. But look, Nupeng has come in, that man has come in. Can you not see the coincidence of a proxy war being fought? It's a proxy war because they are coming from all angles. It's a proxy war that is being fought. And I have named who and who are behind this. And you talk about monopoly. NNPC is the monopoly in the country. The second monopoly is Nupeng. The third monopoly is that man. The fourth monopoly is this company we are talking about. Pengassan. They are the ones that can't let go. They think that the whole country will continue to be on their knees just for them to get by. You have 2,000 trucks and you are making so much noise. So what happens? You are contenting somebody that brought 10,000 trucks. You have 2,000. He brought 10,000. You're not talking about resources to upgrade your 2,000. He hasn't stopped you from coming to the gantry, but you are screaming. You don't want his 10,000. What is it? What have you invested in the economy? Somebody is investing 1.7 trillion, not indirectly in his refining, but to actually move his product and then bring down the price of fuel so that people at the people who actually sell the petrol don't actually get more than 40, 50 naira. But if you look at the 820 naira they spend at the gantry to collect the fuel, see who is getting who. The exploration gets so much, the driller gets so much, the refiner gets so much. But from 820, by the time it arrives at the pump, somebody is collecting 1,100 to see who is doing it with no investment. So the man that actually puts the petrol in your car doesn't get more than 50 naira per liter. But look at the people that stack up the benefit. So this is the point. That is what he wants to get off the way so that the benefit will reach to 30 million Nigerians and 42 million workers. Now, you just suddenly jump on strike. You have not thought through the financial hardship. 50,000 people every day will be going into poverty. Over 14,700 jobs will be lost every day. The value of the salary that will be lost, that is what it would mean. You are not thinking about the hospitals. How many people are going to die in the hospitals today? Because they are not going to have fuel. Those in intensive unit, you're not talking about that. What about the mission critical businesses? Your phone, how many calls have been cut because they are not going to have enough fuel to run the base stations? Then the airports, how many lives are going to be in danger if they don't have enough fuel to maintain 24/7 power? What the hell is going on? Because a few individuals think that the world should come to a stop, and then the 230 million Nigerians should be at their mercy. That is not democracy. That is not industrial democracy. That is not free market. That is not any of those. It is just gangsters that are taking over the country.
Indeed, and it's worrisome. Let's look at it. The Pengassan also have a case in this regard, because they have been saying that the Dangote is probably trying to monopolize the market. We talk about him bringing in 10,000 trucks into the market as against the 2,000 naira owned by the other marketers. Don't you think by the time he releases 10,000 trucks on the field, who he has promised to deliver PMS free of charge to petrol stations all across the country, this may effectively put some of them out of business, and of course they are actually fighting for their lives.
That's a fallacy. It is a fallacy because your 2,000 trucks, nobody has stopped you from using them to go to the gantry to get fuel. I haven't seen where Dangote says, I don't want to see any of those in my gantry. Number two, if Dangote takes fuel to your depots or to your, nobody says your 2,000 trucks cannot do last mile deliveries. Nobody says that you should, the companies, there are 42 million companies that are your customers. And then nobody says you should not supply to any of them from any of your depot or any of the place. Nobody says you shouldn't do that. Overseas, people stay on their station. In your farm, in your road construction, we bring fuel to them with trucks. They don't carry jerry can in motorcycle to go look for fuel. In rural villages, petrol stations have been shut down because they can't get. Now somebody invests 1.7 trillion to deliver this thing to you so that you can now do last mile delivery or whatever, and then you don't want to hear. And then you don't want to upgrade those trucks so that at least Nigeria gets the benefit of CNG-driven trucks. You nothing. You don't even want to go and ask Dangote, can we manage 1,000 of these your trucks in this zone as a pilot and show him that you can make more money for him, that he can save half of his cost? Do you think the 1.7 trillion that he's going to make profit in those is just a cost to the company? But you can go in your program here. I told it to one of the people that came here. I said, go and put a proposal, because in the company they want the bottom line is what they are concerned about. If you can do this, because 720 billion was what he was going to spend to buy, and then 1 trillion was the cost of running those. Tell him that you can do it for 500 and then save him money.
Now, Prof, what about those who are saying that Dangote is trying to come into the downstream through the back door? Although Dangote himself has actually defended that if he had wanted to play in the downstream, he would have bought over some of the filling stations that were sold out some years ago. What can you say to that?
There is no law that stops him from operating in the downstream. NNPC is operating in upstream, midstream and downstream, and it is foul. They should get out of downstream because they have no fuel. They are not producing any fuel in the midstream to give to the downstream. So what are they doing there? Give these things to those people who are making trouble. Give them all those NNPC. Secondly, what are you doing with the refineries that are producing naphtha, not producing jet? You are sitting there. Give it to them. Let them manage it. Management, by give it to them. What are you doing? Focus on upstream
in terms of capacity,
and do gas, do all this floating LNG. They have more work to do. They're just causing distortion, and then you have NDPRA that is even the worst offender. It doesn't want to establish the correct consumption of fuel in the country. Fuel PMS we know is under 40 million per liter a day, and they are quoting 70, 80 with no evidence. When we stopped the transfer, when we blocked the borders, did you not see 30-40% drop in the price of consumption of fuel? And on all the countries in the coast, up to Senegal, we're all screaming. Their prices doubled. These are people who were getting the fuel through the coast and go through the border, Niger. But those are the people. The evidence was there. But you got a regulator that doesn't want to establish the price of the quantity of fuel being consumed. Dangote has given you the opportunity. Tell him to put satellite tracker on that truck so that he can geofence and then make sure if that truck goes to border, alarm will come. Work with him, for goodness sake. You have not built a laboratory, and yet you are doing all you are doing just issuing licenses and then bringing substandard fuel and then having all these people go after the neck of an investor. That is all that is going on. So the federal government, the president should just stop this nonsense. Because there's no point, one agreement today, another one will come up, you get another agreement tomorrow. No. Those people at the national level, get rid of them, let the state versions operate. So that these things happen step by step. After all the states are not refining crude. All the states are not producing gas. So why do you have this national thing that is distorting the whole economy?
Indeed. Prof, you made a very valid suggestion that if the oil workers union can actually manage the existing refineries owned by the federal government.
Bring their own partners if they want partners.
The government should even hand it over to them free.
Give it to them free, so that we can have peace in this country.
Given the conditions of those refineries, even Dangote himself has said that those refineries may never work again. Don't you think the idea is for them to go and build a refinery and, of course, rival the Dangote refinery that we have right now?
No, you know, remember 10 billion was spent over the last 10 years, $10 billion.
On turnaround maintenance.
On turnaround maintenance, that never happened. They are paying salaries for workers that are not doing anything. The last people that produced 1 liter of PMS in NNPC was over 20 years ago, and they've all retired. So what you have there have not actually experienced production of 1 liter of PMS. So you just have, they are paying salaries and paying salaries. Let them go and manage this. Leave it for them, for goodness sake. No, take a penny. Let them go and manage it. And then forget about what Dangote is saying. It's just out of anger. They can do it. Something can happen. They collected $3.5 billion just as Tinubu was coming in by securitizing our fuel, our crude for the next 5 years, that they are going to get the refineries working. They make all the noise. Pengassan was among the first that said, yes, that is working. What is working? We've seen it. Was anything working? It's only producing naphtha and it's shut down. Nothing.
For maintenance.
If it is working, let them take it. Plus the 3.5 billion spent. Let them take it. But the government must do something about the NMPDRA. They must do something about it because they're sitting there quietly fomenting trouble. And then you got all these agencies, all of them. You should do it once and for all. Let's call a spade a spade.
Dangote says he's a fighter that he has been fighting all his life. So this is another...
and see how many boys coming in and they are discouraging him now. Others that want to invest. Nobody would want to invest when they are seeing this level of industrial unrest.
This is more like a frustration for foreign investors who want to come in as well.
It's scary for them. Absolutely scary. And they're taking the whole 230 million Nigerians for granted. It's unbelievable.
All right, Prof, how best do you think government can resolve this issue?
I've given you the answer.
Truth of the matter
I've given you the answer because
the two sides need each other to function.
Which side are you going to negotiate?
Both the Dangote
you negotiate Dangote and Nupen today. Where tomorrow you negotiate Dangote and Dapman, and then Dangote and what's the other one called? Pengassan. Who are you negotiating? More will come in. You've seen them. This is an organized chaos. It is orchestrated and it is a proxy war. So we shouldn't miss what Abacha said. If you have this problem one day in this country, government hand is in it. Has Abacha not said that? Abacha said if you have riots in one day in a country, government's hand in it. There's a government arm that is involved in this. That's what is giving them the audacity to do what they are doing. The temerity to stop the whole country.
That's a very big allegation, Prof.
No, I mean, what are you saying? What is the allegation there? Pengassan is not a regulatory agency. So, and then Lupen cannot ask for 1.something trillion for what subsidy. For where? Where is the subsidy? So Dangote will pay you subsidy for doing for what? What have you done for? I mean, the whole thing is unionism got mad. 1981, 82, I was doing my PhD in Leeds and in Sheffield, and I saw it. Mrs. Thatcher took on miners' union. Exactly the same situation. Without Oscar Gale, he ended up prescribing the union. And then what is it? Look at America. Look at America. All the car industries had to vanish to America, to China and South Korea because they couldn't breed. So it is just not fair. And let's look at the law. The law says you can have union. Yes. And I'm going to say, yes, we recognize that. But it's not compulsory. Then you talk about, packages. Not what package? Dangote gives the best known financial package to compared to any gas and oil industry. Best in Nigeria, best in Africa. Compensation package, you get housing allowance, you get health allowance, you get good salary beyond minimum wage. Nothing. After 5 years, you can apply for loan to buy your own house. So what is the problem? To the highest international standard, they are not satisfied. Then you say that he's forcing people out, forcing them in and forcing them out. You cannot. Everybody has a contract. If there is a deviation from your term of contract, if adequate notice is not served, then you can come and fight for this worker to get his rights. It's not a problem. They're entitled to right where it is. Then thirdly, when it comes to redundancy doesn't respect contract. Redundancy can happen based on all kinds of things, but the law says you have to take, the law has what, that you take its course. So, and then if they've done all that it is, now go and talk to them and know whether there is anything you can do for the future to help those 800 come back to work at some stage. There may be more training that is required. Talk them, two of you have money. Why don't you invest in training of some of these people so that they could be first in when they open up? You're not talking about it. So I don't know what is. No rules, no rule of engagement. You just jump on strike. It doesn't happen like that.
Indeed. Well, I will not blame Dangote at all, because if you invest $20 billion to put that kind of facility in place, you wouldn't want any other person to come and tell you how to run that kind of business. Now, in closing, now as we wrap, Prof, a lot has happened, and what we want is an agreement in the best interest of Nigerians who are going to bear the brunt of the ongoing war between these two giants. What sort of agreement do you think they should consent to in this regard now? Government is wading in today. The oil workers have, in a way, ignore the plea from the government and even the National Assembly, and of course they're proceeding on their own strike now. What sort of resolution should we expect? I mean, a holistic resolution now that will involve all the critical stakeholders.
First, you cannot have a strike, and then you put gun on your head, and you're telling him to talk. There's nothing to talk about if you don't call off the strike. That's number one. Number two, you cannot have ultimatum. You cannot determine for an employer, private sector, who to employ, who to hire, who to fire. I mean, you don't. Talk about what are the entitlements of these people that they must be met within 7 days. All the entitlements will be paid. Then look into the future. Come and negotiate. What you're going to negotiate is about the future of the workers. How they are going. You sit down to talk about what can be done. Not to, you don't give ultimatum. Go and employ yourself. I'm saying go and be your own employer. Go and run refinery. Put your own money there. Government is not going to take money from you. Go and show us that you can run one refinery. And not to come and tell somebody how to spend his $220 billion. I mean, it's not hard of.
Absolutely. Prof, my final question is out of what we're doing, more like a digression now. Nigeria will be first, will be 65 on 2 days from now, talking about October 1. What would you say is your view on Nigerian economy from 1960 to date in terms of progression?
Well, we have had our difficult moments, and the future still looks extremely bright for the country. We have seen transformations of all dimensions. We've seen, you look at them policy by policy, we've seen what this new administration means to the trajectory that we have come through. We've seen how monetary policy has been arrested, and then you now have some kind of stability, and you have clear management of resources. Now you have all the good elements are working because production volume is going up and then price is stabilizing. But they come to fiscal policy. We've gained a lot of grounds on fiscal policy. There is now a better coordination between fiscal and monetary policy. But we still have a big trouble in borrowing. And it's simply because we still haven't played to the fiscal rule on borrowing. There's nothing wrong about borrowing. America is the richest in the country. They are owing the highest over here. So they're owing about 34 trillion. And world trade is $33 trillion. So that's not but the fact is that what are you borrowing for? and what's the capacity of your borrowing to repay the money, and where is evidence that you have cost-benefit analysis. That's where the weaknesses are in that particular borrowing scheme. We are showing good progress on revenue generation because we are moving from 10%, 7% to revenue to GDP. Now it's gone over 10% and it's going up. Hopefully it will come to about 15% before 2050, which is good news.
All right.
So there are, on balance,
all right,
you know, a lot of things are straightening out, but there is hope. You can actually see hope in the end of the light.
Indeed, that is the key word there. There is hope. Professor Ken Ife, economist, I must thank you for your time on Business Daily.
Thank you.
Of course, I appreciate your contributions.
Thank you very much.
All right. With that is a wrap on the show today. We'll be back again here tomorrow. I am Yusuf Akogun.